How is everybody doing today? Welcome back to another episode of the Just Ballin' podcast. A few episodes ago, I basically just went through every single NBA team or potential trade idea around Giannis Antetokounmpo. You guys seem to enjoy that video, or at least interested in hearing my thoughts about that. So we're going to talk about another name, probably a bigger name globally, not a better player right now, but still an elite one, Kevin Durant. We are going to go through pretty much any team that I think could realistically make a trade for Kevin Durant, maybe some dark horse teams, and then some obvious ones as well, and what the Phoenix Suns could expect or at least want back in a Kevin Durant package, because I think it's fascinating given Kevin Durant's age, current contract, and still his production right now, because his age isn't too appealing, right? But he's still extremely productive. He's a free agent at the end of next year, so you're essentially acquiring an expiring contract, and who knows if he wants to re-sign with your team right now. So there's a bunch of different factors that could go into this. All right, so we're going to hop on Fanspo basically and just run through some trade ideas. It's always funny, like it's funny to see the trending players being traded, because you got Giannis, obviously, you got Jalen Green, you got Zion, you got Kevin Durant, who we're going to talk about today, and then you have basically every Laker. Like Maxi Kleber is the third most trending player on this website right now. You got KCP, Nick Claxton, basically all of the Rockets. Devin Vassell is there. So yeah, there's a bunch of different teams that we're going to talk about that could make a trade for Kevin Durant. $54 million, you're going to have to shit out a decent amount of money. Like I said, 36 years old, 1 year left on the deal. He can really fit in most offenses, but I don't think you can win a championship in the year 2026 when you're acquiring him to win you can't have him as your number one to win a title. You can't. He needs to be your number two. If he's your number three, like not saying your third top scorer, like he could be your number two scorer, but if you have a player that's maybe gets like, I don't know, better initiator as a straight up point guard, like Indiana, right? Like Kevin Durant, you might say Halliburton could be better next year than Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant would be more of an offensive threat than Halliburton, at least scoring the basketball. So Pacers we're going to get to, they're interesting. I am recording this after the Pacers are up 2-0, the Knicks are up 2-0, the Timberwolves are down 0-1, and it's 1-1 between the Thunder and the Nuggets. You guys will be seeing this, I believe, on Saturday. This should be Saturday's episode, so there'll probably be some games that happen in between, but yeah, we can get into this. We'll start off in the Western Conference, because I think for the Giannis episode, I started off in the East. I mean, there could be a fun Thunder reunion. That was actually, I feel like, linked a little bit ago. Could have happened last offseason, because the Thunder, I think, were a little bit linked to Paul George, but not really that serious. They end up getting Hardenstein. I mean, I don't really even think there's a package out there that you would get Giannis to the Thunder. I mean, they look so dominant in game number 2. I mean, I would still be shocked if they didn't make it to the NBA Finals at the minimum this year. I really hope we get, I like Minnesota and OKC sounds so much fun in the conference finals, but I don't want it to come at the expense of like Steph Curry being hurt. I mean, you're looking at this, like you can easily get there with like Hardenstein, and like Dort would be like, I think, get it done basically. I mean, I would be very happy with that return for the Phoenix Suns, but I don't really think the Thunder really make a lot of sense right now. And I think if they went after a big name, it would be Giannis Antetokounmpo, maybe Devin Booker. The Rockets, I think, make a ton of sense as well. They're going to be one of the top teams linked to Giannis, and I still, like, I'm going to hold firm on my stance that they would have to give up Şengün or Men, and they're not going to trade a Men, so you probably have to give up Şengün to get Giannis. If realistically Giannis is getting moved this offseason, which he's under contract, like the Bucks don't have to trade him. I think Kevin Durant could be a little bit more logical. Now, like, would you do, like, does Kevin Durant fit on this team with Jalen Green, right? I mean, there's the team option coming for Fred VanVleet. Now, you let him walk and maybe he leaves or he's in this trade. You don't really have a point guard next year, and I think you're asking way too much out of Reed Shepherd. So would you be okay saying, you know what, it didn't work out in Houston, but we were able to get a 36-year-old Kevin Durant, like, straight up for Jalen Green? Now, the Suns are a second apron team, I still believe at this moment, but they're most likely going to waive Cody Martin and his $8 million to get under the second apron. So this trade would not work straight up. I would have to cut $21 million from the Rockets. Can I aggregate money, though, in this deal? Like, say you do Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green for Kevin Durant. To be honest with you, oh, man, I don't really love that. Like, if I'm Phoenix as a return, I think you're getting like solid value for what Jalen Green could be and a good role player like Dylan Brooks, because you do not own your draft capital. So I'd rather guys that can contribute right now than getting draft capital. And then I think if you're the Suns, you could probably get your first round pick, because depending where it ends up in the lottery, I do think Jalen Green lost a lot of value throughout the playoffs, and you have to pay him. Like, the contract is about to kick in. It's not like we're in year one of this $100 million deal. This is the first year. So you have 3 more years. That's longer than the Bradley Beal contract. Dylan Brooks, $21 million for the next 2 years. And then Kevin Durant is an expiring contract. I mean, if you can get this, Green, Brooks, and a top 10 pick this year, I would be all over that. I don't think you can get all your first round picks back for Kevin Durant. That would be more so in a Devin Booker trade. And I'm sure that Houston would like to keep Dillon Brooks around Kevin Durant, but then you'd have to probably throw in like Shepherd and Wandale. I mean, would you prefer that? To keep Dillon Brooks? Like, yeah, would you rather move Dillon Brooks or Shepherd and Mondale? I mean, Shepherd was just the 3rd overall pick. Maybe you'd be more okay trading Jabari Smith instead of Shepherd, just because you got Shepherd for a little bit more under control. But I think Jabari could still be a really good player in this league, and I don't want the Rockets to give up on that. To be honest, I think this is what a framework could look like. And if not Jabari and Wandale, it's Shepherd and Mondale, or it's Dillon Brooks. I think they can get one of the first round picks back. Maybe it is not their 2025 first back. Maybe it's just the 2027 first back for Kevin Durant. Because you have to remember, Kevin Durant is an elite player still, and he can really put the Rockets over the top, and they don't really have to mortgage much of their roster to get Kevin Durant. Like, you're okay moving some of these guys, like even if it is Reed Shepherd. And I think the Suns may have no other choice given what their position is right now. They're not winning a title next year, and they don't own any of their draft capital direction going forward. So I think the Rockets make a lot of sense. I think there's a bunch of different variations of this trade they can do. So Rockets fans, let me know. I mean, Suns fans, like, do you want Jalen Green in this deal? I mean, I think there is a way that they can keep Jalen Green, but Dillon Brooks would have to be in the deal, or it's a sign and trade with Van Vliet. I mean, say you do, this does not work. You would have to include 13 more million. Yeah, it is tough to do Brooks, Jabari, and Wandale. I mean, yeah, because you really can't get to that $13 million elsewise. So yeah, it's basically Dillon Brooks and Jalen Green, or it's Green, Wandale, and either Jabari or Shepherd, and then you'd like to get one of your first round picks back. Honestly, I think that's probably going to be the best package that the Suns can get. I don't love Jalen Green with Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. I think that kind of defeats the purpose, but I think there is still upside of Green. It sucks you have Beal on your roster, but I think Green can still be a floor raiser. Do I think he can be a number one on a title team? No, never really did. Do I think he can win you a playoff series? Not at this moment. But I do think he can win you a couple of regular season games. So you're giving up the 14th pick, right? Or the 13th pick rather than the 8th or 9th pick, because he's been available. He's been out there and he gives a decent amount of effort. So I think the Rockets are going to be involved. I'm sure Lakers fans are even trying to come up with ideas. It just wouldn't make sense for the Lakers, right? Like, why would they trade for Kevin Durant? It would actually be pretty idiotic to have a team of KD, LeBron, and Luka with nothing around them, and they really can't even get there financially. So yeah, the Lakers are not getting Kevin Durant. The Denver Nuggets, okay, they're one of my dark horse teams. I do think the Nuggets could get involved in a KD trade. If they do get, I mean, they stole game 1 on the road. They get blown out in game 2. If they lose in 6, maybe. And I think there could be like it's tough because I don't know if you can rework a deal. So like Russ has a $3 million player option, and I think he deserves $10 million at least next year, given what he did this year for them. And I don't know, like Phoenix does not own their draft pick next year. Could you somehow get like Michael Porter Jr., Russ in a sign and trade? I mean, I don't really want the Zeke Naji contract, and maybe you can get Julian Strawther, who has not really been a playoff guy for them, for Kevin Durant. And then the Magic, like they wanted, or they were linked to Jimmy, Ingram, Levine earlier in the year to upgrade from like Michael Porter Jr. as another shot creator on this team. Just want to see if this works out financially. It does not. I have to cut $10 million. So yeah, my idea was like Porter Jr., Russ, maybe opts out. Like, I don't know. They don't have bird rights on him. So I would like for Russ to play $10 million in Phoenix, because I do think they can use somebody like Russ throughout the regular season, kind of like Jalen Green could be a floor raiser. He's going to lose you games, but the Suns do not care about where they're going in the playoffs next year, if they even made it, which, I mean, you got the Spurs, you got the Mavericks, you got the Trailblazers, all non-playoff teams. Even the Pelicans could be a lot better next year. I don't think the Suns are going to be a playoff team in 2026, but you really just don't want to give up a really good, valuable pick to Houston unless you get it back. We know their pick's not even going to Houston next year. It's a swap with some different teams, which could make Memphis a juicy spot later on. So I think, like, you're not getting Gordon. I think you'd want to keep Gordon, because if you can get a closing lineup of Jamal, Brown, KD, Gordon, and Jokic, that's really good. But I think to get this deal done, you'd have to include like Zeke Naji. It would be tough. I don't even think this would get it done. Yeah, you would have to have some type of Russ like different deal with that, and maybe Strawther's not involved in draft capital instead. But I do think the Nuggets would be a dark horse team that would love Kevin Durant against Jokic. You get off the Porter Jr. money long term. I mean, Phoenix at least adds a little bit of size, something they desperately need. That's not 36 years old. And Michael Porter Jr. has been hurt in the playoffs, so maybe his value's down a little bit. I think Russ helps you throughout the regular season. And if you're not getting Strother, maybe you can get some draft capital because they can move their 2031 first. And then they could also move some swaps as well. And I think you never know where Denver's future can be. Clippers, no. I mean, you'd have to do Harden, which you're not doing. I mean, I don't even think Norman Powell. I mean, Zubats and Bogey probably get you there. But why are we doing that? I mean, it would be fun. But I think Zubats, losing him hurts too much for this team going forward. And I don't really think they need somebody like Kevin Durant. Yeah, I mean, every team can use somebody like Kevin Durant, but I don't know if it's going to happen. Minnesota, I mean, apparently they tried at the deadline. They would be fun to do this deal. I feel like Randall would have to be in it. I think they would want to keep Naz Reid and McDaniels. Maybe Nickeil Alexander-Walker could be a sign and trade. So he's not even here because he's an unrestricted free agent. Like I would include him in the, so that would be renouncing the, can I actually do a sign and trade here? Modify. Yeah. Okay. So I could sign him to a new contract. Let's say you sign him to the full year. That's actually pretty cool that you could do this. I don't even know what it would be off the top of my head. I would have to like look up the exact number, but say it's around like 14 mil. It's the mid-level exception. Like say he gets the full mid-level exception in free agency. Could you include him in this deal? So say we did this. That's actually really cool that you're allowed to do this. Okay, so I just saved that. And then I'm going to throw non-assign and trade to the Suns with Julius Randle, who may be like an opt-in and signs an extension with Phoenix. I mean, that's not a bad return. And you can get some draft capital as well. You can get Detroit's first-round pick in this draft. And I don't think you're getting Rob Dillingham, but maybe you could take a flyer on, I think, Jalen Clark, who has shown like pretty good defensive attributes this year. That does not work out financially because I would have to cut $14 million from the Wolves. Okay, so that's tough. I'm not sure. I wish I was more educated on the CBA. I'd like to get better with that in the offseason. Like, yeah, maybe Mike Conley's got to be in this deal or something like that. And it's still going to be close, but you're throwing out a lineup. I mean, McDaniels could maybe headline it. I think Phoenix would take Randall, Conley, Clark, pick 17 and non-assign a trade. And I actually think they could be better off next year because I think you just need defenders and role players around Booker and even Beal. Like if Kevin Durant is off this team next year and Beal is like the clear-cut number 2 offensive option, I think he's going to have a pretty good season next year. We can go to, but yeah, so I think Minnesota. So like my favorite teams in the West so far, Minnesota, Denver, and Houston. Golden State, fun idea. It almost happened at the deadline. It would have to get done with Draymond and maybe a Kuminga sign and trade, but then we're aggregating money, which gets really difficult. I just don't think it happens. And I don't even think it's worth it to go from Jimmy to KD unless Phoenix is like, I want an all-star caliber player in return for KD, and they go out and get Jimmy Butler and somebody they wanted at the deadline. I think Memphis is a fascinating team as well. Now, they really can't get this deal done because they moved on from the Smart contract, so it's really tough unless there's sign and trades. Like Desmond Bane for Kevin Durant can financially work. You could probably get off the Conchar money. You would maybe have to throw in like Vince Williams, and you can give them their swap in 26 back. Like you get part of that. So that works out financially. And now you have Ja, you have Scottie Pippen Jr., you'd have KD, Jaren Jackson Jr., Edie, Clark. I would hate to trade away Desmond Bane, but I just don't think you can realistically get for a small market team that's been conservative in the past. I don't think you're getting KD by holding on to Desmond Bane. Plus, you have the Jaren Jackson Jr. massive extension looming this offseason. So, yeah, I think Memphis could be interesting because of that 26 first. Maybe Desmond Bane would get rerouted to a different team. But I just don't think, unless Zach Kleiman is actually, like, making moves for his job on the line, I just don't think it would be wise for them to trade Desmond Bane for Kevin Durant, given KD could just leave Memphis in a year from now. If they still had the Smart money, I thought you could have gone there and held on to Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Ja, but now that money is in DC. So Sacramento, I mean, they could really get desperate this offseason for sure. I mean, what if they did like DeRozan? Oh man, Devin Carter. Oh, I just want to see if this works financially. I don't even think it does. You'd probably have to include Monk in this deal. Yeah, you'd have to include Monk in the deal, that's way too risky for the Kings. They're not going to do that. Dallas, I think Nico is a team to watch here, or is a GM to make this move. I don't think they would dangle Kyrie, even though if they get no production from Kyrie next year, it's not the worst idea because your window is dwindling with AD, and you trade Kyrie for KD. It's not the worst idea, but it's not the best idea. You can get there financially with Gafford. Can you do actually these three? Like, can you hold on to PJ? You cannot. How much are we off? 14 mil. Okay, so it's tough to do this without PJ Washington in the deal. So you can do, I mean, a 4-for-1 is, does this not even work? You'd have to cut 90K from the Suns. Like, say instead of Caleb Martin, who you traded Quentin Grimes for, you do, can I do OMP? So this deal would basically essentially be, okay, this doesn't even work either. 6.5 million. Damn. This is tough. Because I was thinking you could do like PJ Gafford, Clay, and OMP for Kevin Durant. But then, I mean, there's some cap holds that you can kind of withhold in these. I mean, I think Nico would like to do it. I just don't know if they will. Portland, no. New Orleans, no, even though it's intriguing. You're not trading Zion for KD. But, like, would they be interested in McCollum's expiring? Would they be interested in Alvarado and Hawkins? I mean, I don't think this is pretty stupid, and this is more of like a 2K type trade, so I'm just kind of playing with the money here at this point. Yeah, this doesn't even work out. You'd have to cut 4.5 from the Pelicans. So say you did, okay, Olynyk would make this work. Dude, can they even afford that, Phoenix? So say you did McCollum's expiring, Olynyk's expiring. You get Jordan Hawkins, Alvarado, and there'd probably be some picks involved in this deal. I mean, Kevin Durant and Zion Williamson is pretty fun with Trey Murphy. And what if you get like Dylan Harper in the draft? All right, that was just a pipe dream. So I would say we're done. Actually, no, we're not. We have one more team, and that's a very realistic team in the West, the San Antonio Spurs, who could probably do this trade with keeping Devin Vassell, your 24-year-old. You can load up Harrison Barnes. I think Keldon Johnson would have to be in this trade. Jeremy Sohan might have to be in this trade as well. This would work out as a 3-for-1. And I think you'd have to throw in minimal draft capital. But say you give up Atlanta's first rounder this year, which is at like, it's going to be at like number 14. And then you can maybe do their swap in 26. Like maybe, you might not even have to throw in that much. But yeah, you get Kevin Durant and you get to keep Vassell. And then you'd have basically Fox, Castle, Vassell, KD, Wemby. That's really good. You get to keep your pick in this draft as well. And you're just basically flipping Sohan. Not the best money long-term. Keldon Johnson showed flashes again this year, but you're trading basically the 14th pick in a 26 swap with Atlanta, which I think Atlanta is going to be fine next year for Kevin Durant. It's intriguing, man. I would say they're up there with one of my favorite destinations. So I would say in the West, it's Houston 1. I'd probably say Denver 2. I like that idea. I would probably put San Antonio 3 and Minnesota 4. That's how I would rank the Western Conference teams. So let's go over here to the Eastern Conference. We can roll out a ton of teams. Like, we can go bottom up. Like, the Wizards, we could see a reunion. Kevin Durant going to his hometown homecoming. Not going to happen. Hornets, not going to happen. Philadelphia, I mean, it would have to be Paul George for Kevin Durant. But I don't even think, even if you got the second overall pick, I don't think they would do it. But, oh man, there's an appeal to it. If you think Embiid could be healthy next year and you have Maxey, you have McCain, you have Edwards, Gershon, Embiid, and Kevin Durant, that's not bad. If somebody told you preseason, all right, you guys are going to not make the playoffs this year, but you could trade Paul George for Kevin Durant at the end of the year, would you do it? You'd probably be like, yeah. I mean, you could be trading. I mean, even if it's pick number 3, like would Philadelphia do that? Like you get Paul George, who, I mean, may have just been banged up this year, but it's like you now have like the 2 worst contracts in the NBA and Paul George and Bradley Beal. But I'm saying if you get their first round pick, which was like pick 2 or pick 3, and you can get Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, or VJ Edgecombe, it's something, but I think the Nets are definitely not going to make a trade like that. Nets, or the Sixers, I meant to say. The Nets, I mean, I don't think we're seeing a reunion there. The Raptors, I mean, they could be a dark horse team, but they just got Brandon Ingram. I don't think they're ready to rush the process right now, unless they can. I just don't know how Scottie, Ingram, and Kevin Durant would all work out. Miami is going to be a team that's going to be linked with Kevin Durant this offseason. They can kind of get there financially. You can trade Wiggins, you can trade Rozier, and you're pretty much there. I think you could dangle Kel'el Ware immediately, and then maybe like the Warriors pick in this draft, and that could compete with some of the Western Conference offers. I think those are better. You have to cut $4.5 million. Wait, from the Suns? Okay. So maybe you don't even have to take on Rozier's 1-year deal. You would take on Duncan Robinson's contract. Does this work financially? It does. So Wiggins, Robinson, Ware, and the Warriors pick this year, which is a late first. It's something. I think you might have to include like a 29 first, but I would be very intrigued about Kel'el Ware in the half-court offense with Devin Booker and Bradley Beal next year. Wiggins can at least help you in the regular season. I mean, Robinson and Allen, a little redundant, but Robinson isn't a long-term deal, and you get another first in this year's draft, which you already own pick 30. I don't hate it. Chicago, not going to happen, even if they landed like Cooper Flag, I don't think. Atlanta, they're interesting. I mean, I would not want to trade Jalen Johnson or Risa Shea or Dyson Daniels unless it's for Giannis. You have a Kungwu. You have Terrence Mann. Like, can you even get there financially if you did Niang, you did a Kungwu, and you did Terrence Mann, and then they would have to find a center somewhere else? You'd have to cut $6 million from the Hawks, which you could probably do with Buff getting. Yeah, you'd have to trade a lot. I don't know. Maybe it's a Capella sign and trade. I mean, Atlanta, I don't really think they're going to be a dark horse team. All right, so now we got the top. We got the top 7 here in the West. So Orlando, I like the idea, and I don't think you have to move Suggs. I think Suggs is too valuable to move for Kevin Durant. You can do there, get there with KCP. You can get there with Cole Anthony. And I think they would want a center, so you're going to trade them Wendell Carter Jr. Maybe instead of Cole Anthony, actually, you would have to do Anthony Black. Does that get you there financially? It does not. You'd have to cut 14. Okay, so maybe Cole Anthony, or you can get off the Eisen money. Like, okay, would this work? So then you'd have basically next year, for now, Suggs, Kevin Durant, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and Goga. Like, that's fun, and they need to add offense this offseason. I mean, that would work. What? Doesn't work? Okay, yeah, so it's right on the margins. And then they also have draft capital. They can get their version of the 26 swap back, because I forget the pecking order off the top of my head, but it's something. It's not a bad idea. I think you can maybe get Anthony Black in this. I think you can, actually. I think I'm undervaluing Kevin Durant. I like Orlando, and I mean, Franz, Paolo, and Kevin Durant is fun. Detroit, I like this. I do. I wouldn't want to move any blue chip assets for this team. Tobias Harris is gone. Isaiah Stewart would have to be gone. I don't want to move Ivy. I don't want to move Asar. I don't want to move Durant. I don't want to move Holland. So you're going to trade Stewart. You're going to trade Tobias. You're going to trade Sasser. And then you'd probably have to move the 26 first. Just kidding. You can't do that. You would have to move the 27 first and the 29 first. So you would do maybe Holland would have to be in this deal. I mean, to compete it with other offers, like, that's something. I mean, Tobias Harris is not bad money long term. You get a big in Isaiah Stewart, you get Sasser, and you get 2 firsts. Yeah, I think other teams can easily match that. I think Holland would actually have to be in that, or Ivy. And I don't know if Detroit is willing to do that right now, because they had a competitive series with the Knicks in 6 games this year. Milwaukee could get desperate, but they don't have the capital to go out and get them, especially with Dame hurt. Indiana, I think, is interesting, because they're a team that's going to be flirting with the tax soon. I think, man, it's tough, because if you want Kevin Durant, you would maybe have to move Nembhard, which might be a non-negotiable, and maybe it's a Miles Turner sign and trade. I don't even know if you can do. Let me just see if you can do a 4-for-1 here, if that's even going to work financially. Okay, it does. So you do Obi, which you're okay trading. TJ McConnell, you're probably okay trading, and honestly getting off the back half of that deal. So you're basically moving Aaron Nesmith and Benedict Mathurin for Kevin Durant. You're rolling out Halliburton, Nembhard, Kevin Durant, Siakam, and Miles Turner. Oh, that's a good 5. I mean, you're taking a page out of the Knicks book, and you're putting a lot in your starting lineup. And can you do this trade by keeping, like, you maybe can keep McConnell and Walker would have to be in this trade, which is a lot now. I think trading Mathurin, Nesmith, and Walker is a lot, and yeah, that's right on the edge. So, I mean, they have draft capital to move. So, say you're able to keep Jarris Walker and all this, even though they'd probably rather keep Aaron. Actually, maybe you can keep Nesmith, who I think is a vital part to a playoff team. Let's say you did that, and then you do Walker, and you do. It's really tough now, right? Is that going to be? Yeah, that fails. Damn, that's close. You got to cut 4-3. Because I think Toppin and McConnell, nice salary filler in the trade, but can both help Phoenix in the regular season. Mathurin and Walker, I think, would be enough. And then you have draft capital as well to sweeten the pot. I just think trading away Nesmith hurts Indiana, because I think he's such a good playoff performer. And either him or Mathurin, I think, would be valuable off the bench. I'd be okay trading Walker. But, man, I just listed out that starting 5. I mean, I know the bench gets a little thin. But if you had Halliburton, Nembhard, KD, Siakam, Turner, everybody can kind of shoot there. You get to keep maybe either Walker, Nesmith, or Mathurin off the bench. You can maybe bring back Isaiah Jackson with bird rights, and he's your backup center. I like it. I like it, man. But Indiana may make it to the conference finals again with their core now. The Knicks are going to be linked. It's not going to happen. People are talking about OG Anunoby and Josh Hart for Kevin Durant. What is that? What? This isn't Brooklyn Nets. This isn't Warriors Kevin Durant. And why would you trade away the Knicks' best defender when their defense had some question marks? They've been physical in the playoffs. I just don't think the Knicks make any sense. Boston would be funny. Like, say you do Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. Nah, that's 2K type. Cleveland could get desperate if they really got bounced in round 2. But, everybody's under contract. I know you're going to lose potentially Ty Jerome in the offseason, but I don't think there's any need to trade for Kevin Durant. Unless you don't like Jared Allen. so his extension kicks in 20. Oh, it doesn't kick in 25. So it's tough to get there because they're going to be a tax team as well. Like, say you do DeAndre Hunter and Jared Allen for Kevin Durant. You might have to include a Coro. I don't really think that's worth it. And there's like 400K off. I mean, it's close, but I don't really think it's worth it for Cleveland, honestly. I think they just won 60 plus games with the core they have there. So I would say in all, my favorite Eastern Conference teams would be Indiana, Detroit, and I kind of like Orlando more than I like Miami. I don't think Kevin Durant, Hero. I mean, like, that is a good team. Maybe I do like Miami over Orlando, and Orlando shouldn't rush it and add another wing. All right, so I think, honestly, there's only really two destinations that I love that I think for both teams. I think Indiana could really build a good starting five, better than what their good starting five is now with Kevin Durant and Indy, and Phoenix can get a good return. Same with Detroit. Yeah, or Miami. Actually, yeah, I don't really like Detroit's. Miami. I think Miami could probably offer enough, but I don't think I like it for Miami's side. And the West, so I think Indiana's actually my favorite team in the East. In the West, I like a little bit more. I like Houston, I like Denver, I like Minnesota. I can be convinced about Dallas and Memphis, and then I also really like San Antonio. So, hey, that's like 6 or so teams that I think could really make a move for Kevin Durant this offseason. I'd love to know, like, your favorite Kevin Durant fit right now. Is it one of the Texas teams? Do you think you're on my wave with the Indiana Pacers and you see that? Or maybe they're a team, yeah, like I said, for the Pacers, they make it to the conference finals again with this core. They may try to make a move on the margins, and they're going to be fine. Because who knows how the series could have gone last year if Halliburton did get hurt and Brown doesn't hit that game winner in game 1. So let me know what your thoughts are on Kevin Durant and his situation down below in the comments. Thank you guys all for watching and listening to this episode of the Just Ballin' Podcast. I'll catch you guys in the next one.